Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Conscious Conservation Group podcast. I'm Asher, and today we're talking about energy. Energy is the pulse of modern life. It's the spark that ignites progress, the fuel that drives innovation, and the force that will shape our planet's future. But what does it mean to truly harness energy? Is it just for powering devices in cities, or is it about something more? In its most general form, energy is the power generated by using mechanical, electrical, or chemical sources to produce light, heat, or drive machines and technology. From cars, to factories, to wastewater treatment, and even the device you're listening to this podcast on, requires some form of energy to function properly. As the development of new technology continues to advance at a rapid pace, our understanding and capacity for new energy sources must keep up. The question is, how do we meet increasing energy demands without exacerbating environmental issues? Carbon fuels like natural gas, coal, and petroleum have limitations. They're finite resources that can harm the environment if not properly managed. The extraction process can disrupt ecosystems, and burning them releases greenhouse gases, contributing to climate change. Despite these drawbacks, carbon fuels still dominate our energy landscape, powering transportation and almost every industry. That's where renewable energy comes in. Wind, hydropower, solar, biofuels, and others promise similar energy outputs with lighter environmental impacts, and often make use of non-exhaustive resources. But it's not a simple switch. The United States' current infrastructure is based on a system of carbon fuels, and each renewable energy source has its own set of challenges and trade-offs. For example, solar power requires rare materials, wind turbines can harm bird populations, and hydroelectric dams can disrupt aquatic ecosystems. So, how do we navigate this complex landscape? Today, we'll dive into each carbon energy source and compare them to renewable fuels. We'll examine the benefits, drawbacks, and potential applications of each, and try to answer the question, what is the best energy source or sources for building a reliable and sustainable energy future? While energy production and consumption are global issues, many countries have different energy needs and resources available. So for simplicity's sake, this episode will mostly focus on the United States energy sector. Let's start by breaking down the current U.S. energy demand. In 2023, the United States produced about 4.18 trillion kilowatt hours of electricity at utility-scale facilities. According to the United States Energy Information Administration, or EIA, roughly 60% of this electricity came from burning carbon fuels. Renewable sources contributed 21%, and nuclear energy accounted for 19%. Nuclear energy is a non-renewable resource that can provide clean and efficient energy. While there are benefits, there are also potentially significant environmental risks associated with nuclear. For now, we will be tabling nuclear energy, but let us know if you'd like a follow-up episode exploring its potential. With this data, we can start exploring the best options for the future of energy production. Seeing as carbon fuels make up the majority of U.S. energy production, let's start with them. Natural gas is the single largest source of energy production, generating 43.1% of utility-scale electricity. It's also considered the cleanest and most efficient of the three main carbon fuels, emitting fewer greenhouse gases per unit of electricity generated compared to coal and petroleum. Power generation involves burning natural gas to produce high-temperature gas or steam, which spins an electric turbine. According to the EIA, it takes 7.42 cubic feet of natural gas to produce 1 kilowatt-hour of electricity. In 2023, the U.S. produced 1.8 trillion kilowatt-hours of electricity from natural gas, requiring over 13 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. While that sounds like an absurd number, the US is the largest natural gas producer in the world, churning out over 104 billion cubic feet of natural gas per day. Natural gas is typically extracted through drilling or fracking, which uses high-pressure water to blast apart underground deposits. The gas is then collected via pipelines and processed for use for energy production or liquefied for storage and sale. This process can have several environmental drawbacks if mismanaged, including air pollution, habitat destruction, and water contamination. Given the US's significant reliance on natural gas, it's unlikely to pivot away without a compelling alternative. Coal is the second largest carbon fuel source, accounting for 16.2% of the country's electricity production. Its benefits are its abundance and relatively low cost. It takes about 1.14 pounds of coal to produce 1 kilowatt-hour of electricity. In 2023, the United States produced 675 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity from burning coal, requiring at least 770 billion pounds of coal to be burned. Electricity is generated by burning coal in a boiler to create steam, which drives an electric turbine. Coal's energy density and widespread availability have made it a staple in the US's energy mix. However, coal's environmental drawbacks are significant. Extraction methods like strip mining and mountaintop removal can devastate ecosystems, contaminate water sources, and disrupt wildlife habitats. Strip mining involves removing soil and sediment to access coal deposits, often leaving lasting scars on the landscape. Mountaintop removal, used in Appalachia, involves blasting away mountaintops to expose coal seams, burying valleys and streams with debris. These practices have long-term impacts on the local ecosystem and communities that depend on them. Burning coal also releases a cocktail of pollutants, including sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, carbon dioxide, and mercury, contributing to air and water pollution. In fact, coal burning accounts for over 55% of the energy sector's total emissions in the U.S. Coal ash disposal is another issue, often ending up in landfills or buried, risking groundwater contamination. There have been efforts to mitigate these impacts, including scrubbers that remove toxic chemicals from smokestacks and carbon capture systems that reduce CO2 emissions. Some coal plants are even exploring co-firing with biomass or transitioning to cleaner energy sources altogether. Regulatory frameworks like the Clean Air Act have driven investments in emission-reducing technologies. While progress has been made, more work needs to be done to minimize coal's environmental footprint and transition to cleaner alternatives. Petroleum plays a relatively small role in the United States energy production, accounting for less than 0.4% of the total, with 0.3% coming from liquid petroleum and 0.1% coming from petroleum coke. The EIA states that it takes 0.8 gallons of liquid petroleum to produce 1 kilowatt hour of electricity and 0.85 pounds of petroleum coke to produce 1 kilowatt hour. In 2023, the United States produced 12 billion kilowatt hours from petroleum liquids and 5 billion kilowatt hours from petroleum coke, requiring 9.6 billion gallons of liquid petroleum and 4.25 billion pounds of petroleum coke. Power is generated from petroleum by burning oil to produce steam, which drives turbines and creates electricity. Although limited in electricity production, petroleum products are crucial for transportation, with 138 billion gallons of gasoline and 46 billion gallons of diesel consumed in 2023. Petroleum is the least efficient energy source among the three carbon fuels, but its versatility in producing lubricants, plastics, and other products makes it a vital part of the energy mix. Refineries process crude oil into various fuels, chemicals, and materials that are used in everyday products like plastics, fertilizers, and even pharmaceuticals. The environmental impacts of petroleum extraction, transportation, and consumption are significant. Disturbing land and seismic exploration can harm ecosystems, while oil spills can devastate marine life and contaminate water sources. The 2010 Deepwater Horizon spill, for example, released an estimated 4.9 million barrels of oil into the Gulf of Mexico, affecting over 1,300 miles of coastline. Gasoline-powered cars, which make up 98% of the United States vehicles, release pollutants like carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter, contributing to air quality degradation and health issues. The Clean Air Act and subsequent EPA regulations have aimed to mitigate these impacts, such as banning leaded gas, requiring emissions control devices, and mandating ultra-low sulfur content in gasoline. While progress has been made, ongoing challenges include transitioning to cleaner energy sources, reducing dependence on petroleum, and addressing the environmental legacy of extraction and production. The U.S. energy landscape is heavily reliant on carbon fuels, providing reliable energy and powering daily life. However, exploring these resources reveals significant cost. As non-renewable resources, they're finite, and extraction can be environmentally intrusive. The more we rely on them, the more we deplete our reserves and risk environmental degradation. Climate change, air pollution, and water contamination are just a few of the consequences of overdependence on carbon fuels. To advance technology and meet growing energy demands, integrating renewable energy sources into the mix is crucial. This shift can reduce dependence on finite resources, mitigate environmental impacts, and drive innovation in renewable power generation. Investing in wind, hydropower, solar, biofuels, and other renewables can create jobs, stimulate economies, and ensure a more sustainable energy future. The transition won't be easy, but it's a necessary challenge to tackle. As technology advances, renewable energy becomes more efficient and cost-effective. With policy support and investment, the U.S. can lead the clean energy revolution, reducing emissions and securing a cleaner, more sustainable future for generations to come. Let's take a look at how renewables stack up against their carbon counterparts. Wind power is the largest renewable energy source in the U.S., accounting for 10.2% of electricity produced in 2023, with 425 billion kilowatt hours produced. Wind turbines harness the wind's kinetic energy to drive electric generators, with the average turbine generating 843,000 kilowatt hours per month, enough energy to power roughly 1,000 homes. Turbines range in size and can reach up to 900 feet tall to tap into stronger winds at higher elevations, increasing capacity factors and energy production. Wind farms are typically located in the Midwest, leveraging the region's vast open spaces and strong winds. However, offshore wind projects are emerging, particularly off the East Coast, where winds are stronger and more consistent. These projects are located closer to population centers, reducing transmission losses and increasing energy delivery efficiency. Wind power has minimal emissions and doesn't require water cooling, making it an attractive alternative to traditional carbon fuels. However, environmental concerns include bird and bat collisions with blades and non-recyclable turbine components. Although, researchers are working on recyclable designs and more bird-friendly turbine configurations. The biggest challenge is land use. Wind farms require large areas, potentially impacting local ecosystems and wildlife habitats. Careful planning and community engagement are crucial to balance renewable energy development and environmental factors. Hydropower is the second largest renewable energy source in the U.S., contributing 5.7% of the electricity generation, with 240 billion kilowatt hours produced in 2023. Hydroelectric plants harness moving water to drive turbines, often using dam and reservoir systems. And there are nearly 1,500 hydroelectric facilities currently operating in the U.S. These systems can be highly efficient, with some plants even achieving capacity factors over 50%. The U.S. has a long history with hydropower. The first plant opened in 1882. Today, hydropower remains a vital part of the energy mix, particularly in regions with significant water resources. However, hydropower has environmental drawbacks. Dams can disrupt fish migration patterns, alter water temperature, and change flow patterns, impacting ecosystems. Some dams have installed fish ladders or screens to aid migration, while others are exploring more innovative solutions like fish-friendly turbines. Hydropower is evolving beyond traditional dams, with exciting technologies emerging in tidal and wave power. Tidal power systems generate electricity by harnessing the predictable rise and fall of sea levels, using natural phenomena to produce passive electricity. With several pilot projects underway globally, this technology is showing promise in countries like the UK and Canada. Wave power, on the other hand, taps into the energy of ocean waves, using their movement to drive turbines. Various technologies are being tested, including floating buoys and submerged turbines. These innovations are making hydropower an increasingly viable option for clean energy production. These advancements highlight hydropower's growing potential to contribute to global clean energy, and as these technologies mature, we can expect to see more efficient and cost-effective solutions for harnessing the ocean's energy. Solar power is the third largest renewable energy source in the U.S., generating 3.9% of electricity, or 165 billion kilowatt hours. Solar cells convert sunlight into electricity using semiconductor materials, producing DC power that's inverted for AC for household use. Panels are often fixed facing south and can be adapted for individual homes, minimizing land use. This adaptability makes solar a popular choice for residential and commercial applications, with options for rooftop installations, community solar gardens, and large-scale solar farms. Solar energy is emissions-free during operations, making it a clean alternative to fossil fuels. While production requires significant energy, panels typically repay their energy costs within the first 4 years of their 30-year lifespan. Proper disposal is crucial, as some cells contain heavy metals like lead and cadmium. Recycling programs and responsible disposal practices are emerging to address this challenge. With efficiency advancements and declining costs, solar is an attractive option for clean energy production. Innovations like bifacial panels, which capture light from both sides, and building integrated photovoltaics are expanding solar's potential. As technology continues to evolve, solar's role in the United States' energy mix is likely to grow. Biomass is the fourth largest renewable energy source in the U.S., producing 1.1% of utility-scale electricity, or 47 billion kilowatt hours. Biomass can be burned to generate steam, converted into biofuels like biodiesel, or turned into biogas. The U.S. exports a range of biomass such as wood pellets for fuel and uses waste-to-energy processes like anaerobic digestion to generate electricity. These processes reduce waste while producing energy, making biomass a valuable part of the renewable energy mix. Biomass is considered carbon neutral, as the CO2 release is absorbed by plants during their growth. However, burning waste can lead to air pollution, which is mitigated by EPA regulations and air pollution control systems like scrubbers. Biomass feedstocks include wood, agricultural residues, and municipal waste. Advanced technologies are being developed to convert biomass into drop-in fuels, biochemicals, bioplastics, and others, expanding its potential. As the industry evolves, biomass could play a larger role in reducing greenhouse gas emissions and transitioning to a low-carbon economy. As we've explored the US's renewable energy landscape, it's clear that these sources have immense potential for growth and can play a vital role in reducing our environmental footprint. Wind, hydro, solar, and biomass energy are all contributing to a clean energy mix, with advancements in technology and efficiency making them increasingly viable. With wind power generating 10.2% of the US's electricity already, and solar power experiencing rapid growth, the momentum is building. Innovations in energy storage, smart grids, and demand response are addressing intermittency concerns while making renewables a more reliable option. Investing in renewable energy can drive economic growth, create jobs, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The renewable energy industry already employs hundreds of thousands of Americans, with solar and wind technologies in high demand. Moreover, renewables generally have a lower environmental impact than traditional carbon fuels, with fewer emissions, less water usage, and reduced waste. With the right policies and investments, the United States can unlock the full potential of renewable energy, enhancing energy security and mitigating climate change. Given the environmental benefits and growing competitiveness of renewables, it's clear that they should play a larger role in the US's energy mix. By embracing this shift, we can create a cleaner, more sustainable energy future, with benefits for public health, the environment, and the economy. States like Texas and Iowa are already leading the way with wind and solar power driving economic growth and reducing emissions. As technology continues to evolve and costs decline, the future of renewable energy looks brighter than ever. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Conscious Conservation Group podcast. Please subscribe, and if you have ideas for future topics or want to share your thoughts, hit us up in the comments below. And until next time, be wild, stay conscious.